all of us in high school played at a really high level of tennis. So like coming here, I feel like we already were ready for like some of those bigger moments.
All of us are extremely competitive. Like we would rather die than lose.
We all want to win. Yeah. At the end of the day, we all love to win, and none of us will give up, and we'll go out kicking and screaming.
That is another thing. Like, I don't know 4 more competitive people.
Yes. And I think it's like we all love to win, but it's like we hate to lose way more.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've taken our program from good to great, raising the bar to unimaginable heights. They all played a pivotal part in winning our first conference championship in program history, taking us to the Elite Eight that year in the NCAA tournament. 3 of the 4 of them have earned All-American status. They all are great students, and they all really embrace the entire Southwestern experience. Emma's exactly what we looked for in the recruiting process. We were extremely fortunate to land her commitment at 8:46 p.m. on May 1st, which is the latest recruiting commitment we've ever taken in program history. She's just a whirlwind of confidence, and that breeds down to everyone else on the roster. She has this natural ability of bringing out the absolute best out of people and allowing them to find their comfort zone.
So Coach Porter has a very unique style of recruiting. I would say very different than, like, in a good way. Like most coaches I would talk to, they, you get on the phone with them and they're like, this is our school, this is what we do. Kind of just the same rundown for everywhere you go. But I remember I got on the phone with him and I wasn't really even thinking about going to Southwestern at the time. I was like, might as well look into it. And he's like, get out a pen and a piece of paper. You're gonna need to take notes. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is intense. But in that moment, I was like, at least like he cared. Doing like that style of recruiting really like in your face, like also like he sends you stuff every single week, but like it keeps Southwestern in your head. And I mean, that's why I came to visit. I was like, I had it in my face all the time, which, I mean, it's really beneficial. I mean, it shows like that you're wanted by this program. You're not just another like player that they're recruiting. Like they genuinely want you to be a part of the team. The academic side of it was really important. I was looking at like some D1 programs too, but I was like, I wanted to be pre-med and I wanted to study biology, and you can't do that you can't play tennis at a D1 and then also do that. It's just not realistic. The academic support you get here, like you get a degree from here, you're set for life. You're gonna get a job after this, no matter what you do, or you're gonna get into graduate school. Whatever you wanna do, you can get it done here. But also like from the tennis side, like my visit was just so much fun. Like I really got to know all the girls on the team really well. Like some of the schools I looked at, like you would randomly bounce between like team members, but whenever like I came here, the whole team like got together, which was like really important for me because that's like something that I really wanted. I didn't want to just like go and play tennis and then go home and like forget about the team. Like this is truly like a real like team and like family for me.
Taylor's had a great story here at Southwestern, one of gradual improvements in all aspects. Her freshman year, she came in as a very highly touted junior player and struggled beating her own teammates, but performing in the tournaments against other opponents. She made the doubles lineup her freshman year and had some significant wins for us. Her sophomore year, she broke into the singles lineup as well as the doubles lineup and had some key wins for us across the board. Her junior year is where she really stood out the most, as she went from being kind of a middle of the lineup player for us to playing number 2 and was able to secure the highest clinch in program history against Kenyon on the road indoors. Taylor's leadership was a big part of her junior year as well. She mentored a freshman who arrived at Southwestern behind the curve in doubles and mentored her in between points, during practices and van rides, and got that individual to become a very solid doubles player for us. That was not one of Taylor's natural things of comfort to do, but she did a great job of doing that and has continued this year to mentor more up-and-comers on our roster in a really positive way.
I remember going through the recruitment process, and my senior year, I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to play tennis anymore. I'd been playing my whole life. I did homeschooling. I always wanted to be D1, and I kind of hit my peak probably like early high school, and then it kind of felt like nothing was going my way. And so I was just really frustrated. And I also knew though, like I was gonna go to a big school. I applied to like Auburn and UGA and all those. And kind of knowing myself, I had to make a decision, and I knew that I would thrive more at a small school while playing a sport, because that's what I grew up doing my whole life. And that's what I wanted my experience to be. And I also am very ambitious, so moving from Georgia, I'd never been in Texas before. So I kind of was excited to go somewhere new that I didn't know anyone, I could start over, and I just see how it went, and it ended up being really good. I remember my whole life I wanted to be D1, and I kind of thought like D3, like it's not like the same. But here, and compared to other D3 schools, like here in specific, treats it like a very like serious program, just like a D1. I feel like we practice just as much, and I like that there's a lot of discipline on this team, because I feel like that translates to outside of the tennis court. It makes you just a overall better person, and I like having structure.
Nina came to us from an elite tennis academy with super high expectations. And she had never been on a team in any capacity before arriving here. She had a huge drive when she got here, and she's achieved some of the greatest accomplishments we've ever had here at Southwestern. She is a two-time All-American. She is a two-time NCAA qualifier in singles. She is the OHI champion in singles, and she was the Conference Player of the Year last year. As impressive as Nina's tennis has been, what defines her story is her willingness to be a great teammate. It's something that did not come natural for her, that she didn't have any experience with, and something she's put an enormous amount of time and effort into to become one of our best teammates.
Coach Porter, he was very persistent when recruiting me. He would constantly send photos of the team. He would constantly be checking in on like how my matches are going. He would be checking in like with my personal coach in Dallas. And he constantly was just like advertising how good Southwestern is, how it would be a good fit, how I could grow here. I would just say like my everyday life, like I love my schedule at Southwestern. I love going to classes and meeting new people, talking, having class discussions, then afterwards getting comms with my friends, and then going to practice and hanging out with the tennis team. Because I don't see it as like a chore, like, oh, I have practice. Like I'm excited to go to practice every single day, because it's like that's when I get to hang out with my best friends. I'm a player that used to, especially my junior years, I would always play for myself because it's a very individual sport. But since coming to Southwestern, I don't feel like I'm playing for myself when I'm on the court. Obviously, I want to win for like my personal record, but I want to win for the team, and I feel like that's how the team feels as well. Nobody's really like, oh, I won this match, and they're bragging about it. They're all like, we're always about like, we won, or it's always about we, and it's never I. Definitely, as a freshman, the way I thought I would be a good teammate is just by winning. Now growing into a senior, I realized that being a good teammate is everything but just the winning part. It's just showing up every single day for your teammates, always doing what's right even though like nobody's looking, always trying to be there for the girls. I always try to notice if somebody's having an off day, try to reach out to them. I always try to tell them that like, hey, I'm doing this extra stuff outside and like come join me and everything. And just being like as supportive as I can. Because freshman year, I was very focused on myself and like what I wanted to do at Southwestern versus like the impact I could make on my team and like others around me. And now growing into a senior, I just want to be like a role model for the other girls, kind of how like the upperclassmen were for me my freshman year. And I just hope that like when they're a senior, they will try to do the same as being a role model for others, and it just be an endless cycle.
Allie's an absolute gamer. She's one that wants the ball with the last shot with 3 seconds left on the clock. And in a basketball reference, you can count on her in the biggest moments, and there's nobody else we'd rather want out on the court than Allie Ziem. Allie Ziem is the heart and soul of Southwestern women's tennis and has been so for the past couple of years. She has a great skill set of being able to connect with anyone and everyone. She has social skills that are second to none and has the ability to make everyone feel comfortable around her.
I would say Coach Porter, out of all the coaches that I spoke to, was by far the best recruiter. His recruiting visit was so well thought out, and it really got my parents They were like, this place is great, he's doing a great job. I would say I had a lot of fun on my recruiting visit, and it was a good time, which also helped. I loved the girls, and right away I felt like I was at home. I would say my favorite thing about playing tennis at Southwestern is playing on a team when the sport isn't really, it doesn't feel like soccer or like basketball, where all the pieces have to work together. Whenever you go out and you play your singles match, that's all you whenever you're playing, and that's something that I've always enjoyed about tennis. I would say the most rewarding thing and the most challenging thing are kind of combined for me. Something that I struggle with is really not necessarily using the position, but realizing how many people actually trust what I say and want to listen, just want to listen to me. And I don't really realize that sometimes, and so it's really rewarding knowing that my teammates have a lot of trust in me. I really try to go above and beyond and support my teammates, not only on the tennis court, but off the tennis court. We have a lot of people in STEM. If they have a hard test, just shoot them a text, hey, how did your exam go? So proud of you, I hope it went well. And then just really trying to connect the team well. And I think as the years have progressed, our team has gotten closer and closer and closer and closer. And I don't know if that really has anything to do with me. We have such a great group, but I like to think maybe I have a little part of it. Something that I've learned from working with Coach Porter is how to be more patient. That's still something that I struggle with to this day. I am a very reactive person, and so if he says something that I am not a fan of, I'm quicker to show emotion to it, which isn't always great. And he has really taught me when I need to be patient and when it's okay to be reactive. And that's something that has definitely made me a better person today.
They're a very unique bunch with massive personalities, and that has always been something very special about this class. I think seeing them, grow as young women off the court and some of the friendships that they've developed is very, very special, that I know a lot of people wish that they had, and they set a great example for other relationships on the team and what recruiting classes can be, especially in tennis since they're so small, that they have this very tight bond together. Something this class has done a great job of is elevating our program to the highest point it's ever been. And something that's come with that is playing in some of the biggest matches on the biggest stages. One of the most special things about this class is their fearlessness. It doesn't matter who's left on the court. We know regardless of who it is, that they're gonna get us over the hump to that finish line. All four gamers, all four aren't shy of the big moment, and all four have certainly left their mark on this program for the best.